Greetings and welcome back to AP Computer Science Principles. This is Unit 5, Lists, Loops, and Traversals. We are now on the project Hackathon Part 1. So again, we're just going to kind of walk through the different pieces of this in each of these next few lessons. There's no warm-up, go straight to the activity. We're going to go over kind of what the project guidelines are. These are in the paperwork, which you should be able to get a Canvas and the actual project turn-in for the week. But again, you're going to need to make sure you have the app, the completed project planning guide, which is what we're going to kind of go over a good chunk of it today, and then the written response, which is going to be mostly for next week. All right, so it needs at least 3 screens, can be easily navigated between them, a data set, and we'll kind of show you what these data sets are, 1 traversal, whether you filter, map, whatever you might be using, and then of course your variables, your functions, your conditionals, your list, and your loops. All the things that we learned so far, got to find a way to kind of integrate that all into it. And then you need to explain what it all does, have good names, and if I can get that thing to get out of the way, which I probably can't, it is my luck, there's another requirement which we go over actually on the sheet. So the first part of this is the investigate. And it says to choose a data set. So if you go over to code.org, I jumped over lesson 14, part 2 to kind of get here. But if you click on the data part of it, there's all of these tables that you can choose from. So again, it starts with none. So let's say we go into science, and then we're going to go to COVID-19 per state. You should be able to then import it. Now what you want to do is make sure when you do that, click on it and look at what it has, right? So we can look at as of that date, which doesn't look super current. This is how many you have. Now you can make an app by, where buttons are, click on a button and it takes you to the state with the most confirmed cases or whatnot. Or you could make it so, I want to sort by all of the A states and see their things, right? So you have a bunch of different options that you could think of for using your functions and your filters. You could filter by saying, all right, take me to a page that I can enter a day, or not a day, a number, and see what states, or how many states, again, depending on how you want your program to work, have over 10,000 confirmed cases, right? So that would be kind of look at the information for what you're doing, to kind of figure out what you want to do. So again, first of all, look through what you want you can add them and then delete them once you're done looking at them, or you can click preview. Figure out which table you want to use, because you're going to base your app. So make sure you understand what data is in there, because that's going to kind of dictate all the rest of what's going on, right? So what columns would you use from that? So obviously the state, and there's not very many columns in this one. Cases, and then deaths, right? Those would be the ones that I care about. I don't really care about the date. I could use those. So that is the first part of it. The next part I'm just going to show you on here is the brainstorm part, right? Now, how you traverse it. We talked about filters, right? You can filter that if the cases are over whatever, 10,000, you're going to create a new array. Well, the array is already created, but right, you're going to filter into a new into an array you already have, a filtered array with all of those states. So those are examples of something that you would use for that. So just kind of give it a little bit more detail as we go through. If you're going to filter, how would you do that? I would filter by going all states, or and it doesn't have to be a number. It can be an input box or a slider or whatever that they use to type that number in, and then it'll give them all of those states. And then finally, for today, at least for today, this part of the project, you're going to draw it all out, right? So again, we have our boxes. As a reminder, you can insert, drawing, new, and then you can use all the tools in here to go ahead and draw out your app and what it looks like, the text boxes. Save and close, it'll show up in there. I'm going to delete it out because I don't need it. But that's what we're doing for this part of the lesson. All right, we'll go in more detail in the next part, but this is part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.